Hello, everyone. It's the end of 8 hours worth of chat and debate and discussion, and I don't know about you, but I'm blooming tired, as we say in England. Properly bushed and beat. I am. How was your day, Ben?
It's been great, but about the same. Things went smoother than I feared. Um, but we had our hiccups, but I think we got through everything okay.
We absolutely did. Of course, there was the odd technical snafu. There was the odd dropout of people in roundtables and in sessions. But I think fundamentally, we got through all 46 of the sessions, and people seem to enjoy themselves. There's a lot of people texting right now. Hi, Aziz, Ryan. Kathy Cox seemed to have been on just about every session that I was looking at. Kathy Cox was there. So you've had a long day, Kathy Cox. Jenny Williamson, Ancient Fangirl History was amazing. It was brilliant. And I felt I was just listening to the podcast. What were the standouts for you, Ben?
Uh, Before I answer that, Ray, is that you on Ray Belli? Is that you on there? Jump on the chat. Want to make sure I'm inviting the right person on.
Well, whilst Ben is figuring that out, Ben and I have had a little bit of a chat, and we've decided we're going to do this twice a year. Regardless of whether there is a COVID emergency or not, I think we're kind of convinced of the power and the need for something like this on a regular basis. So twice a year, it means that everybody all throughout planet Earth has the ability to actually to link up and have great content at their fingertips on their laptop and whatever. So you will be seeing this again in this format. And when the pandemic calms down, we will actually put on a physical conference as we did last year as well. But there definitely will be a space for this. So J.E. Young is saying twice a year. Yoo-hoo! Yes, yeah, it's going to be twice a year. And Bill is also saying hooray as well. We've had such great feedback. And Ben has arranged a bit of a Zoom after party somewhere, right? But Ben is the cool hip kid, so he hasn't told me exactly what the details are, but I presume he will cut and paste them into the speech area. How long do we have access to the different speakers that we've missed? Good question. Do you know, Ben? That's a question from Ashley.
I don't know, and that's why I'm trying to get Ray on here.
I know it's for at least a month. At least a month. So you will have accessibility. One of the amazing things about this as a platform was as soon as the sessions were finished, you could actually go back and watch them. So I came into some sessions like halfway through and blooming hell, this is interesting. Got to the end and then I could immediately watch the first bit. So it's at least a month. So don't fear if you think you've actually missed anything. You do have time to go back.
And ideally, we are going to try and download these things and make them available longer term, I believe. But
yes,
I don't know.
believe we can do that. The question will be, do we put them on our website, Intelligent Speech Conference, or do we put them on YouTube? But either way, these won't be lost. And I think we'll even maybe even podcast some of them. It'd be somewhat ironic with a conference fundamentally with a whole load of podcasters if we didn't actually do something in podcast format as well. Have we found? We haven't found him yet, have we?
He just got on, so
okay.
Let me find him in the thing. But you keep talking.
So Robin is saying, so we can come back online and listen again. Yes, you can, Robin. And Ray is going to answer the questions. So go on, Ray. Let's get you on, sir.
It's not letting me search for him for some reason.
I can give you his user ID.
All
right. 1 minute. go. Put it in the chat for you. So I'm looking at. We've got a lot of people here who are posting messages. Yes, Bill. I think Lyceum will email you all to tell you how you can watch and go back and see what you missed.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Ray.
Okay, here I am. Sorry, I was logged in as an admin. I did the no-no thing that we talked about not doing, expecting not to have to be on screen. But hello, everybody. I'm here.
Hooray! I should start off by saying that Roifield and I both did a ton of work for this, but Ray, the last couple of days, really stepped up and helped us get this thing across the finish line because he's gotten himself to be somewhat of an expert on the platform, and that really made the difference in making today go smoothly. So,
I would not say expert. I would say competent user.
Okay.
But yes.
Fair.
And Ray, thank you for putting up with me not quite understanding how registration was going to work and me repeating myself and so thank you. So
I'm laughing with you, not at you.
So Ray, one of the first questions that people want to know is on this platform, on Crowdcast, on Lyceum's account, how long will the sessions still be available?
Okay, so to my knowledge, after this talk and we're all done, I don't know if the videos need to render because we've never done a full-fledged conference. We've just done individual talks, and then those are like basically ready immediately afterward. So it might take a while for all of the videos to.
They're already there, Ray. I've been watching them back already today.
You're kidding?
No, they're already there.
Oh. Okay, so then I'm speaking nonsense. Then they're already there. Wait, so I don't understand. What's the question? How long will they be there?
Yes.
My understanding is they'll be available indefinitely. I don't think there's a expiration date. But to be safe, this is why I'm not an expert. To be safe, we should download all of them. Okay. And that'll be easy, and then we can send them to all the speakers, and then the speakers can share them with their networks. We could also get the audio, turn them into podcast episodes, and whoever wants to distribute their talk or their panel on their podcast, they can. I think everyone has my email, but if you don't, I'll put it in the chat here. It's ray@lyceum.fm. That's probably the one you should use to talk to me about this, and then we can coordinate getting you audio files and video files and the like.
Fantastic. So people in the chat right now, tell us what have been your highlight kind of sessions, and let's just quickly just speak to them. Raven has said she really enjoyed the Hidden Voices theme. It was so nice to hear from and about other disabled people, plus being able to hear other minority stories. For me, that was actually key. And obviously before the whole George Floyd incident, I said it needed to be Hidden Voices. One of the issues, if I'm being completely honest, and I'm saying this as a person who comes wrapped up in black skin, primarily being in the history podcasting sphere, there isn't that much diversity. There isn't. It's a lot of men, and it's a lot of white guys, and they are my friends. So one thing that I learned last year is that I needed to dig deeper to find more diverse voices, more diverse presenters, and as somebody who's a visible minority, I don't necessarily think of disabled podcasters readily, and I don't think of other minority groups. And it's important, and we're all becoming aware that we need a multiplicity of voices to have a full understanding of the human experience. So last year was last year, but this year had to be Hidden Voices, so we could get those voices, experiences, those histories kind of out there. It's very important.
Yeah, I'll say, Roifield, during your panel, the History is Testimonial panel with, it was Eric Marcus, Pete, please remind me of his last name.
Coleman?
Pete Coleman, yes, and yourself. I was genuinely emotional. I was genuinely just like a little teary-eyed about just the nature of the presentation and, like, these stories of underrepresented groups representing their histories and really fighting to have those voices heard, and then having those voices recognized, increasingly so.
But this is where, and I did say this in the presentation, this is where I think podcasting does come into its own, in that what we are able to do is to have first-person experience on evolving stories, on evolving history. And the example that I used is on my podcast, How Jamaica Conquered the World. All West Indian immigrants, when they first came to England, say the same thing in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. They came to England and they said, oh my gosh, there are factories everywhere. There must be jobs aplenty, but where do people live? And it's because they'd never seen chimneys before with smoke. They thought everybody's home was a factory. Now, that is just a very tiny thing, but it's very resonant to the experience of an immigrant coming to a different society. We don't have that exact same example for when Columbus went to the New World. That tiny little thing that every other Genoese sailor or Castilian sailor would have said about the New World. And this is where podcasting comes into its own. So we're creating this treasure trove of anecdotes for future historians because of what we're doing.
Yeah, that was part of why, when I worked with Eric to put together the panel for the history as testimonial. That's why there were a couple people, particularly Susan of the American Epistles podcast, who couldn't join us, it turned out. But there's and Nia Clark, who there's a couple people who are just doing so much great work in that kind of podcasting. A lot of us just are like, we sit there in front of a mic and talk going on because we like the sound of our own voice. But the people who we're great. I mean, maybe not me, but there's tons of great people out there who do great work. But it's so it takes it so much to another level having podcasts who break that format down and do something a little bit different. And that's why I suggested to Eric that kind of roundtable topic, and he took it and ran with it. And that roundtable was fantastic.
Thank you. It was great to be part of it. And I learned so much from Pete, because being able-bodied, it's not part of my experience to think about traveling and trying to see historical monuments with a disability. I just don't think. And you're like, crumbs, And then I learned something from you, from one of your responses, that because able-bodied people, we like to go to see old historic European cities with cobbles, and we're like, oh, this is beautiful. It's a nightmare if you're in a wheelchair.
Oh, it's watching Pete deal with that in his YouTube feed, it's just like, I'm always like, yeah, it's a nice historical place, and then watching him try and struggle over these cobblestones, it's like, I need to change what I do as a professional in response to this, because I'm an urban planner, and so I don't directly select pavement types on a day-to-day basis, but there's this just completely changes the conversation, and it's something that I wouldn't have thought of if I hadn't watched his channel.
Bry, who was who also presented, said she really enjoyed Dominic Perry's talk. He had such a fantastic approach to the theme. Antonius says the round table was great. Which one? There's quite a few though, wasn't there? P. Coleman is saying, thank you, Raven. Is a great topic to chat about. Nia Clark is saying, hey, what about me? Yours was brilliant, Nia. Tulsa 1921 and the massacre there. Again, incredibly timely topic. And I'm a big comic book fan. I know you talked about the Watchmen's depiction of it, which you said was wrong because it was a very powerful cinematic depiction, but it actually happened at night, and in Watchmen it happened during the day. Moose said he really enjoyed the Women of the Haitian Revolution podcast, which was brilliant. I did catch the start of that. And that, dare I say, that was part of my outreach. And I've got to thank Drew from the Sleep With Me podcast for saying, Roifield, let's get some more surprising podcasts and people with diverse voices. So to get Martine on was brilliant. Quickly going through these. after party. People want to know about this after party. Oh, you've done it. You've posted it, Ben.
Yep.
It seems like everybody had a great day. And just to repeat, we're going to do this twice a year. Ben might not have a marriage left if we have we do it twice a year, but we're going to have to run this by his lady good wife first, and just to make sure that he's allowed to do this. My favorite quote, says Caroline Weber, was what most influenced modern history. The answer was beer. Was a favorite quote from the day. Kevin's talk, as right interviewing talk. The history of inquiry panel was one of the highlights for me. Oh, thank you, Mark. Eric Marcus says yes. He's my new best friend, Eric Marcus. Really good podcast, Making Gay History. If you haven't listened to that, please listen to that. Stephen May says, I've been bringing Black Wall Street 1921 since you joined the Agora Network.
Binging, perhaps?
Binging. I'm sorry, it's late. It's late. It's late.
I don't even see where you're reading. I'm just
I'm going backwards and forwards here. It seems like everybody had a great time. I enjoyed also listening to Lara, who did Married to Doctors, and I must admit, one of the great things about doing this conference was the fact that I interviewed quite a few of the podcasters, the presenters beforehand. So you can go onto the Intelligent Speech website and view those interviews, or you can go onto YouTube. And Lara is such an amazing, effervescent woman. And it's just one of those surprising things. So, and she says at the start of it, you think, well, Married to Doctors, what are you doing? You're just like being smug. But actually, no, the amount of marriage breakups and actually suicides of partners to physicians is much higher than in the general population. And that goes to the heart of what we're trying to do here at Intelligent Speech, is to always surprise you and to challenge your notions, and actually, dare I say, let you drink from I was going to say drink from the tree of knowledge. I'm mixing metaphors, but you get what I'm trying to say. Been 8 hours of chat. So
you press the apple, and you make some juice out of it.
There you go. Thank you. You rescued me. Me. Yeah. So we're going to see you in approximately 6 months' time. It might be 5, it might be 7. We're going to do this again. But right here and now, Ben, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, so you had asked me what the standout moments were for me.
Oh, yeah, and then I forgot to ask you for an answer. So Ray, you got any standout remarks?
Let Ben go first.
I was just going to say that. So I wanted to just keep an eye on things, make sure no one was having problems. So I was sort of hopping from session to session, and stopping in on the ones that I was really enjoying, and making sure everyone was okay. And then it just sort of, there was this moment after I was done with my 4 panels, and then I wasn't necessarily on the hook anymore, and I started surfing around, and there was just so much good content that it was just kind of washing over me. That it was in a building, and I had the freedom to just walk into a room and then walk into the next room, and it was all good, and just so much fantastic stuff was going on. I couldn't pull out one moment except for that general feeling of just like being completely spoiled for riches, which this whole thing has been. And I'm definitely going to be spending the next month plowing through all 26 2/3 hours of content that we generated here today.
And what about you, Ray?
So like Ben, I was sort of jumping around, making sure everything is okay, answering emails mid moderation, sort of just tuning out, making sure everyone is being taken care of. But like I said, Roifield, I really, really did love your Pete's and Eric's roundtable. I also really liked the history of inquiry roundtable. That was fantastic. And just as a platform, I am really surprised how well this went. I had definitely had my reservations about the flow, and if you guys were able to see what was going on behind the scenes, you might not have thought that this was going to happen. As as soon as just like last night, we're like, oh God, figuring everything out. But everything turned out great. Yeah, so I'm really happy.
Well, I'm utterly happy and stunned.
Yeah, and Roifield, when we spoke before the conference, I was like, I have faith that things will turn out okay. And then you said, "What do you mean faith? My conference is not a religious belief." Good point. Good point.
Kathy Cox is saying, "Can we donate money to this effort?" We'll probably set something up, Kathy, but don't feel that you need to. I don't see why we can't be the font of, and I'm being totally serious when I say we've got to be in the vanguard of fairness and openness. I'm totally serious. At the heart of civil society and democracy actually is to be able to have an inquiring mind, but actually to be open with that inquiring mind. And I don't see why we can't do that and put on great conferences like this, but then also be commercial about it and stuff. I am a professional podcaster. This is what I do for a living. So I think we can do both things. I can earn a living and people around me can also earn a living, but also we can do good work and stuff. So it's not a charitable thing. If you want to throw money at us, great. Maybe we should set up a link for it, but it's not obligatory at all, you know, because you've paid for a ticket to come for this today. So that's one thing, just to be really clear. Right, so Ben, I think you should maybe lead the merriment onto this virtual Zoom drink up, and we can say goodbye on this stream.
Yeah, so I'm sure that a lot of people can't make it time-wise, and if other people want to set up their own Zoom calls, because I need to go put my kid to sleep, so that's going to be a whole process. So I've scheduled it for 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure that people in England are going to need to go to sleep before then.
What time is it Eastern Standard now?
6:30.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, right. Hold that thought then, everybody. What I will do, I will start one now. Let me just go into my Zoom account whilst we still have people who are hot to trot.
Yeah.
Please feel free to fill for me, gentlemen, whilst I quickly just go and do this.
Well, so I'll just step in and say thanks so much to the admins. Ray was sort of the chief admin, but, you know, everybody, Meisha, Noah, Sam, now I have to say everybody's name, now that I started saying. Andrew, of course, Luke, and Eric, you all did a fantastic job. Everything went really smoothly and great. Again, huge props to Ray for jumping in and putting out a couple of really major fires, but everybody did a fantastic job, and we did it.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for having the vision to do this in the first place.
Thanks.
Okay, we are almost there. Here are the details. Right, it's in the chat, folks. There you go.
So I'll hold off. So I do need to go start putting her down now, or within the next couple of minutes. But if we take a little time, everyone can copy and paste that Zoom info from the chat that Roifield just posted. Copy and paste that somewhere else, and then you can join into After Party Part 1. And if anybody is still awake at 8:30, join me for After Party Part 2. I think because we're posting it in the chat, it's open for everybody.
Yeah, and also the chat doesn't go away, as we know.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you can get out of here. You can run, and people can access this indefinitely.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm here all by myself. So in this this chat, here we go. Sam Hume. Here we go. Admits all. Here we go.
Everybody keep Roifield company while I go feed my kid.
I myself have to run as well. I'll be back, so I'll hop on the Zoom and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Cool.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks everybody for showing up.
Chad Davis, I loved your session, sir.
Thank you very much.
I really did.